Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to be working on some more Rumble Hearts. Yes, the most exciting Ultimate Joshi wrestling game ever created by man. And accidentally I have to rewrite the entirety of GURPS. Hee hee hoo hoo ha ha. It's a comedy show, except where I don't get to win. But, yes, hello everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. Thank you very much, Spartan, for subscribing for 13 months. You're stuck in my cave, and you cannot get out. So, what's the game plan? What's the plan? What's the issue? What's the doo-wop? The doo-wop skibbity toilet Ohio, or whatever the fuck the kids say these days. Well, did some work. People are pinging me some more. Good cabaraching indeed. Did some work today. I spent the better part of the day finishing this up. Welcome to all of the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages work pretty similar to GURPS, which is you just select what it is and then you get whatever it is. Some of these are like, I kind of have some of these in red because I don't have a good name for them yet, because we haven't reached that point yet. Ended up going with this system, an abstracted wealth system for the characters. Thought that would be a better way. I do talk about the actual financial situation. Currently, this is what a character is going to look like. In case you're wondering, yes, this is a very basic character. This is 125, negative 50 points. She's not super amazing. 125 might be a little low, honestly, for how we've priced certain things. But as you can kind of see, she's got some of her advantages and disadvantages. She's got some of her skills. She has pretty decent skills across the board. As you kind of see, I focused mostly on her martial arts stuff. Pretty good at being a martial arts person. Not much into wrestling. Presentation-wise, we've got a few different things to work with. I've got our we have our things over here. Health points, fatigue points. She ended up being pretty decently healthy. Nothing too extreme. Reaction 13. Technically, this should round up. If I can find data, fucking, where the hell is it's... Oh, technically it would be that. So she would have 5. She'd be able to move 5 hexes because she has 14 agility, 12 muscle. She's pretty good in that front. She has a 60-pound lift. This goes 60, 120, 180, and then finally 300 pounds. Which is actually very strong. With 12 muscle, she's above average. GURPS really is going to be less autistic than base GURPS, it seems. Yes. We're trying to make playable GURPS. That's the main draw. What we're trying to do here. Well, I mean, it's not GURPS. Just remember that it's not GURPS, everyone. Not at all. Steve Jackson, do not sue me. It is not GURPS, nor has it ever been GURPS. It simply is conveniently looks like GURPS and has some things that are vaguely similar to it. But yes, here is everything. Some of them aren't great. Combat reflexes is one, like some of the ones that I'm going to have to like go back to probably after we start writing some more things. Here, didn't really need to worry about most things, to be honest. What I should do is I've actually never put on normal text insert. We have not put in our table of contents. Okay, that's not supposed to look that way. Okay, let's just do that. There we go. So we've got our basic, this is the Rumble Hearts League. I'm going to write some lore, quote unquote. It's just going to be bullshit saying that Rumble Hearts is a promotion that you all work for. That's all it is. And kind of setting the stage a little bit. Rumble Hearts uses the LePain system. Name still pending. We will need to get a name eventually. Feel free to, if you have a cool name that's definitely not legally distinct, LeDerps. Call it Derps, this legally distinct universal role-playing system. Yeah, if you ever have good names for, feel free to post them in the server. I am more than willing to start fielding answers, or what to call these things. But everything looks pretty normal here. Again, this number might get bumped up a little bit. This is a little low. I wanted them to feel fairly human. We might bump it up to 150. We might do 150, 75, just so people feel a little bit more extravagant. But everything here looks pretty normal, all things considering. Skills might need some cost changes. The idea behind skills is that everything follows the same metric. It's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. That is how it goes. The pricing is a little bit funky though, so we might need to change that. And that was like when I was making the sample character. Skills is where I had to really start tweaking the numbers, because it does spike up quite drastically, and I'm like, okay, that does make sense, but we may want to change that to make it better. But yeah, all the skills here, we might add some more skills in, we might not add some more skills in, similar to advantages and disadvantages. Generally speaking, most things are here. Did clarify a few things, mostly when it came to cost. I did end up doing this for 5-leaf clover. This is pretty much your luck this is pretty much you get luck. You can reroll a check, add additional d6 damage to any attack, regain HP or fatigue points, upgrade critical failure to a failure, or upgrade a success to a critical success. You can do any of those things once per session. Why? Because you're just lucky. I have a feeling a lot of people will take this. Generally, like the ones that I'm like, people might not take. Like, Pagalici is really fucking crippling. I might actually bump the cost up on Pagalici. Because the entire idea for that one is you are effectively depressed. It's the depression one. It's a chronic depression from GURPS, rewritten a little bit, being like, you can operate in the ring fine. The problem is you have to continuously make self-control checks to do difficult actions. Outside of it, it's pretty much, I don't want to do anything, do that. If you want to play Bochi the Rock, you can play Pagalici. But yeah, no, most of these are pretty normal ones. Nothing too exciting. I did in quite a few different variations of reputation. Chuny got removed. However, I replaced it with subculture. Effectively, the idea behind subculture is that it's cheaper reputation. It's a very far-reaching, and if you're like, hey, you know, my subculture is I'm a Gyaru. I have a bunch of things there. You know, it's 25, 10 points. I get a +2 anytime I'm dealing with them. There may be people who don't like that, though, so you get a -2. Not just a reputation, it's a subculture. What that means is that technically you get its, let's see here. It's farther reaching, but more specific than just a reputation. You can still take a reputation, but... You want good as in funny or good as in serious good? I don't know yet. We're just winging it. Subculture furry. Yeah, honestly, like, yeah, you could just take subculture furry and you could just take that a bunch. Hey man, if you wanna take subculture furry 3, take a patron and just roll with it. Be like, yeah, go for it. Fuck it. These are kind of the two I think people might take, be like kind of like their signature ability. Which is, if you're trained by a pro, it's just like, hey, you actually were trained by someone beforehand. You add +1 to anytime you use Queen style, anytime you use martial arts checks. And anytime you do that, anytime you make a Queen style attack, you double crowd excitement. Which is pretty fucking good. On the other hand, you pay 25 character points for it, and you advance, aspect points. On the other hand, hey, I'm an actual trained martial artist. You do a bunch more damage with martial arts, and you actually hit a lot more reliably with it. Why? Because you're a fucking actual martial artist. And you can kick someone's ass pretty fucking fast. On the other hand, this is really dangerous as well, because maybe you don't want to kick someone's ass super quickly. That's kind of the benefit there. Wealth is a little bit funky. It works. It does pair weirdly with workaholic and debt. Effectively, the idea is if you have really high wealth, you can take debt effectively for free. Because you just have to make a debt check. That might be something we have to address later on, but we're kind of winging it. Workaholic, on the other hand, workaholic is effectively a good thing that you get points back for. Because all it is like, you have a job. You have a side job. If you go to your job, you get +1 wealth rating. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's something. If you have a full-time job, you get 15 points back, but you work a 9 to fucking 5. And... if you work a 9 to 5, you really don't do anything except for the weekends and nights. All of the, hey, we want to do fun and exciting, cool things. Your character's like, no, I have to go to work because I work as an office lady. That's my actual job. Of course, this is also a good time for everyone to coordinate and be like, yeah, we all work at the same place. We all work part-time at a gym or something, and we have funny, wacky adventures going on there, and we're also not terribly poor anymore. It's great. Hey man, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of the furries. If they can afford a $15,000 fursuit, they can afford a $20 pipe bomb in my mailbox. Let's see. So that's the basics of things. What we get to do now is I'm going to select this, go all the way down here. Now we get to do a very fun thing, which is I open up my Google Doc, my little thing here is what is the rest of the book? This is a little bit weird, but I really didn't think about this. I kind of entered a flow state with this, and I just did this all today. So what do we really need? Let's take a second and think. What do we actually need in this book? Well, one, we're going to need the influence We're going to need the influence system. Influence demeanor system. Alright, 2, we're going to need combat. Obviously, we're going to need combat. I don't think we're going to put combat right now, because I don't think that's quite right. We're going to need, let's think, what else do we actually need? It's one of those really, like, it's one of those moments where you just have to think, being like, we've gotten all of this. We need to, this is the how to play all of the unfun parts of the game, that we need to actually think about. Let's think. Let's see, what did it have in GURPS Lite? This is GURPS Lite. We're going to need to talk about damage. We can talk about damage and stuff in combat. We don't really need this. We don't really need this. We don't need this. We don't need this anymore. I guess we could put in quirks. I don't know where we would put in quirks, though. We already have skills. Actually, here, let me... Quirks are effectively like small things for bonus points, but we don't really need skills anymore, because we finished skills. I guess we would need... Well, we need advancement. We don't really need equipment, because this is a wrestling game at the end of the day. Let's see. I guess we could... I guess it would be, I guess it would be these physical and mental feats. It's not what you would call it, but yep, that's really it, honestly. Fuck, let me think. Success here. Hello, basic set. How do you do? We don't really need that. We don't really need advantages. We don't need skills. We don't need magic, psionics. I guess we don't need templates, really. Yeah, I guess we don't really need any of those things. Let's, swing all the way down here. Let's do... I really need tactical combat, because that's not really what we're looking for. Explosions, don't really need that, don't really need that. Like, that's the beautiful thing, like, we don't really need a majority of this, because why the fuck would we? I guess at that point we would put in, that is literally all we need. I feel like we're missing something. I don't know why I feel like we're missing something. Do you have any physical stuff like ugly, stinky mouth breather? Like ugly, stinky mouth breather. A lot of those advantages and disadvantages would go under appearance. Funny mental oddities. Nothing too extreme in that regard. I couldn't really think of anything too exaggerated. Oh, you want stretching? Oh, Jesus. Ugh. Don't know if you have these separate physical or mental or whatever. Only thing to have is split up is can be picked up later only at creation. I might put out when we do advancement. Ow. Ow. When we do advancement, I might put up like these can be picked up now. These can't be picked up now. I don't know if you want separate fizz. I want to hear that back snap, crackle, and pop. Have you heard Heinz's new pickle ketchup? Yosemite Mike. My brother in Christ. Where I live, we get that shit like effectively a year beforehand. We get all of that stuff like a year beforehand where I am. It's great. I don't like it because I don't like pickles that much. I like pickles in very certain contexts. I'm not actually a pickle man. This makes me a heretic in this. So you live in the testing area. Nah, I just live by the factories. Yeah, I don't live actually too far for where Heinz does all the bottling and stuff. I don't live very far from it. Or in the future, I just heard the exciting news. Are there flying cars yet? No, everything's still lame and gay. But yeah, no, it's a lot of the stuff you see Heinz puts out, they usually give like a limited run to the surrounding area to be like, oh, hey, how's this looking? Hey, how's this looking? And we usually get it first. There's been a couple weird Heinz stuff that like no one's seen before, but because they just bring it out exclusively for us. And it usually fails catastrophically. You haven't lived until you've been to pickle days. If you want true horror, it's pickle beer. Pickle beer is you meet God with pickle beer. It's kind of awful, to be honest. But let's see. So I guess that's really all we need in the actual book. Really isn't anything too much else besides this. Alright, we can... Like, it's one of those things where I can see very clearly that there's something that sounds fucking vile. Oh, trust me, you can get pickle anything around here, and it's like, oh god. Yeah, pickle beer tastes exactly the way you think it does, and it's not great. It's an experience, though. So, I guess we do... I guess we start off with, I guess we would do, I would say, Meandering Days in the City, which would just be the stuff. Literally you need some sort of reputation system to climb. That's going to be kind of in the advancement. I kind of want to put it there. The idea is that everything is in a promotion. This is like an important thing you got to remember. Like, we are dealing with the idea of, this is a wrestling promotion. Everything is organized around a championship, or there might be other ones. In Cyberfight and things like that. There's a couple different ones that we handle big promotions. You are part of a promotion. Most notably, you are part of the Rumble Hearts promotion. You are trying to build up pretty much enough gusto to get into the Rumble Heart Championship. That's the big goal. You want to get into the Rumble Heart Championship. Once you do that, congratulations. You're aiming for a title. You win. You do good. That's kind of the 1, 2, 3. Most likely, you won't in your first year. You probably won't. That's fine. You're rookies. You're supposed to not really... You're making it to, like, the junior league kind of thing. Once you get into, like, the junior belt, you begin working your way up a lot more. Everything is part of the promotion. That's kind of the idea. It's not really necessarily a strict reputation, but it's, hey... You did really good in lower leagues, you're probably going to do better in the higher ones, because you're not only going to be a higher level, but you're also going to have a little bit more backing. So yeah, we do meandering days in the city, followed by one idea. During the fight, you can track a very simple audience mood factor, something similar. And if you win the fight, you gain an amount of reputation based on that. Yeah, honestly, Sovereign, you're already seeing what I was planning on doing. I had the idea of crowd excitement, being like, every time you pull off a successful technique, you get crowd excitement. Every time, you know, effectively, every time you are doing well, crowd excitement is building. It's between you and your opponent, effectively. You finish the fight too quickly, people aren't really going to be too excited. They're like, well, that was kind of lame. That was a 15-second fight because you walked up to someone, cracked their skull open, and they died. Like, that's not very exciting. But if you kind of, not necessarily drag the fight out, but if you're doing cool techniques, you're kind of putting on a good show, you're, you know, gallivanting around, if you are doing cool things, people like you more. However, if there are, let's say there's two of you, yeah, trust me, combat's going to be quite in-depth, trust me, so combat's going to be a little bit in-depth. Yeah, so it's kind of the idea of, like, you could lose the fight. This person could beat you. However, you put in, like, people like you. You came out better at the end of it because you built up excitement. And it's like, yeah, you lost, but people like you a lot more because of it. You know, you're the person we actually enjoyed watching. I have an idea for grappling rules. We're going to be using GURPS. We're going to be using very specifically the Dungeon Fantasy control point rules, which we will probably have to rework a little bit to make it legally distinct. But we don't talk about that part. But yeah, it's kind of the idea. It's not necessarily like, because you have to remember you need to build up your fan base, and that's kind of the idea when it comes to that as well. It's not necessarily like, oh, well, here's a cheap shot or things like that, because we actually have, this is important, we actually have, if I scroll down here to, where, put it in, ring status. Hey, you're a heel. You actually get bonuses for doing shit like that because you are a heel. You're supposed to. On the other hand, the face is going to get a lot more bonuses by virtue of being the hero. That's kind of the idea. It's like, you pull off a cheap shot as a face, no one's going to like that. You're not acting right. You pull off a cheap shot as a heel, people are going to like that a lot more. They expect you to do that. Yeah, there's no kayfabe. This is important. There's no kayfabe. However, we're still going to use the face-heel dynamic, because the face-heel dynamic gives characters a different way of approaching things. Two faces fighting each other is, we're trying to fight as honorably as fuck and trying to pull off some cool moves on each other. Two heels fighting each other is, how dirty can we fight? Having a mixed party of faces and heels is effectively like, who do we want to call in? Being like, hey, this bitch is evil and she's gonna fuck your day up, but she hates that person more. Yeah, and it's kind of the idea of, like, if you're playing a heel, take a rival. Take a rival early on. Yeah, it's like, take a rival and say, yeah, they're my face. They're someone that I am actively working against because we're fighting entirely in ring, and anytime I'm fighting, she might show up to try to save the day if I'm being an ass, and that's on purpose. People like that. We love a good hero story. On the other hand, you could just have somebody who fucking hates you. Yeah, and it's kind of like, some characters are naturally going to be more heel-like, and it's okay to be a heel. It's okay to be that. You could be a really nice person and still be an asshole in the ring. That's what people expect, almost. Like, you don't need to be a golden saint. So yeah, we do, Mm. Ultimate Progresso. Ultimate Progresso. We do influence. We move into combat directly. Then we move straight into advancement. And then we would do... Probably we would follow up by quick and dirty wrestlers. Pretty much we just need a way to make very quick enemies. In case, like, I don't want to stat out a full character, even though statting out a full character is really not difficult, all things considering, because there's not that much to actually work with in LERPs. And you don't really need to worry about too much, which we're lucky about that. You don't need to worry about too many things, honestly. But like, yeah, kind of quick and dirty wrestlers of who you're actually fighting. Hey, here's how you make a quick enemy that you can power slam into the wall, like, that you don't need to really worry about. Like, alright, I don't think it complain about that. Oh no, you're putting... Oh no, you put rules in the book for me to have more fun. Awesome. It's Elizabeth. You have to derp. I'm a ginger, so I'm restricted to heal. Will there be a mechanical difference between in and outer ring personas? No. Very strictly, the commissioner said, do not add that. There's no kayfabe. Everything's going to be pretty there. If you want to put something like that, if you want to have the idea that you follow kayfabe, and that's something you actually do, that's your thing, you select alternate identity 5, alternate identity 5, code of honor. Generally speaking, I would say a formal code of honor. And if you really want to be specific about things, you can probably pick up some other aspects to kind of give you a better idea. At that point, yeah, that's how you would make a character who has to follow kayfabe. They are just a person with an alternate persona, an alternate name that people have alternate, perspectives of, and you have a code of honor that you must follow, or you take some pretty serious demeanor problems. If you break kayfabe, people get pissed off at you. Random generation is always bonus. Yeah, it's... Indirectly, there was like, we need to have a solo mode for like just solo characters doing things. So I'm like, okay, we can probably put something like that in. That's not too difficult. There has to be some rules for hitting people with a chair. In combat, I'm literally going to have to put a side note being like, you bring in a weapon, this is what weapons are. These are like the 3 kinds of fucking weapons there are. Because hitting someone with the steel chair, it should always be an option, because hitting the steel chair is something there. That, and you also have Maki Ito. See, Polar Rescue is where you start getting some really weird. That's where you're allowed to have some really odd things, because this is the exploding barbed wire bat situation. Yeah, no. To give you an idea, let me see. That's Maki. Let me see. That's Maki Ito. She's kind of hard to see in this not a very high quality video. That's Maki Ito. Maki Ito used to be an idol. And then she decided that she wanted to be a pro wrestler. And yes, that is a chain bat wrapped with explosives. And they do bash each other and it explodes. Japanese wrestling's fucking built different. What can I say? Yeah, so, generally speaking, so we need to do... Call the day, meandering day, actually no, a meandering day in the city. So, if we do meandering day in the city... let's see. First on to the shot at the first shot at the junior championship. Let's see. A shot at the junior championship. They are still human beings with a life outside of the ring, and all of the associated problems that go on with it. All the associated problems goes on with it. While not when the they will let's see. When they're just on the ring, they'll be either training or working on their own projects and problems. Often the life is never quiet in the city. That's kind of the idea. It's like, we're not being really specific where it is. It's just life is quiet in the city. Life isn't quiet. There are going to be things going on because you are unique characters who do unique things for unique reasons. You are protagonists. You have joined the Rumble Hearts promotion. They're still human beings. Life itself, associated problems go with it. Training, working on projects and problems. In their day-to-day lives, the judge has an actual job. They'll probably find themselves at work. Well, those without one, caught up with happenstances happening today, like in the city. Open up. Because what we do is we open up this all the way up here. We do skill. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need any of that. Go to light edition. So we already have talked about you. This is unfortunately the play the fucking game situation. That's literally all that this section is going to be. It is please play the fucking game. I'm not asking much, just play the game. Steroid use. I just realized what Potoretsu is. Meandering. Potoretsu is, it's very, it's a very specific way of doing things. That's why it's kind of, this is one of those things where it's very difficult to, like, just write in. Like, if I had it my way, what I would write in 72-point font, I would just write very simply, play the fucking game. Like, that's all I would type in. This would just be this entire section, just bold letters, play the fucking game. But we can't do that because we need answers for things. So we're going to add in the things. So what we need to do is we need to add a horizontal line. Going to, actually no, Mundane issues. Actually, no, we can do Stock and shop. City. During a Rumble Hearts. No, fucking. During a Rumble Hearts campaign. During a Rumble Hearts campaign, the and just running match after match. Not locked into just running match after match. One of the most important aspects they have to manage is the daily lives of the Joshi and their problem. Daily lives Joshi and their problems. Often these problems relate directly toward their advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages. Joshi with a job. Find themselves. With a and maybe didn't do number of tasks for their patron, or maybe oftentimes these will prompt a check from the Joshi. Other designated goals, however, not every adventure, not every these city never lasts long enough. The Joshi comfortable. One thing we don't want. We don't want people to get comfortable. Mm. Mm. Let's see, stressful. Mm. 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 That's my failing by -5. Mm. 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 Critical failures. Mm. 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 Let's see. This. This. Mm. This is a play the fucking game situation. Effectively, as long as, like, if you are in a situation that is actually like, this is stress inducing, this is time consuming, are you really, are you going for that really structured JTR? No, we're not doing that at all. It's, the thing is, this is just one of those situations where we need to put in the play the fucking game rules. And yeah, like, yeah, just make, here's stressful tasks. What is stressful tasks? It is literally a task that if you fail, you lose fatigue points. That's all that it is. Are you making the out of arena rules? Effectively, like, this is just one of those problems with this kind of game, especially with LeERPs in general, where you don't really have those kind of rules, and you don't really need them, to be honest. They aren't really too in-depth. That's why if we do, you know, meandering day in the city, you know, kind of like, what do you expect to do? Find it understandable. However, there might be stressful tasks. Gotta do the stressful task. You succeed, you might fail, you might take additional, you are taking fatigue damage. This is bad because the thing about taking fatigue damage is if you're wrestling that night, lower fatigue means that you're going to go down a lot faster. Because what the big thing is with how I want combat to be is you're building control points. Anytime you're like trying to wrestle someone, what you're trying to do is just build control points on them. Or we're going to call them grapple points, probably. You build up a bunch of grapple points. They aren't moving or anything, and you can burn them all to reduce their fatigue. The longer a fight goes on, the more tired everyone gets, and everyone starts being like, okay, I'm just fucking tired, I can't fight anymore. Then you start taking HP damage. Once you take too much HP damage, you just fucking get KO'd. Which is arguably one of the things you want to do. They might pin you for 3 rounds. If they pin you for 3 rounds, you're fucked, and you're fucked. However, if they just land a good blow on you, and you get reduced down to 0 HP, you just pass the fuck out. You get KO'd, and that looks really good on them. It looks really bad for you, because you're now just KO'd in the fucking field there. You don't want that to happen, so it's kind of like, okay, there's a little bit of edge here. Let's see. Stressful task. I believe I called. Yeah, that's. Often doesn't have a number of often through the abuse of disadvantages. Often through the abuse of disadvantages, the referee may prompt a self-control check. Self-control is the Joshi acting independently, is acting on impulse. Acting on impulse, and the PL and the player attempting to wrangle her. Attempting to wrangle control back. If the Joshi has the good that was a good self-control check. If the Joshi has the duty disadvantage, so you may need to make a self-control check to whatever organization or group she's obligated to. Whatever organization or group she's obligated to. Yeah, test it again. I'll always test against either Moxie or Smarts. Moxie self-control is based around willpower, and sense of self. Being manipulated. Someone trying to Joshi's let's see, Joshi's duty is appealing to her to do something, requiring her to resist it for a time with her moxie, even if she finds it difficult. Smart self-control. is seeing the truth for the matter, or or trying to dissuade her fears about something. See some roll. Let's see. Joshi's may only be maybe tempered. Nasty temper may be tempered. Though an insult at the Rumble Hearts chairwoman. If the Joshi fails, if the Joshi succeeds at a self-control check, she resists the temptation. She resists the temptation or pull against her. She resists the temptation or pull against her, allowing her to make the choice to indulge or not. Critical success. Critical success. Let's see. She'll indulge or be forced into the situation. Takes time, effort, or a combination, or resources. Pull her out of it, or Ichi is Pagalichi. Critical failure. Critical failure in this situation. It's kind of the idea with the self-control checks is hey, I'm doing something. I have a problem. I have a duty to maintain. I actually work for my dad. I work for my parents at a store, I am not paid for my time at this store. No. I literally just compulsively, they call me, I will help. That is a -10, duty. They call me up, they say, hey kid, we need help. You have to make a self-control check. You look at your Moxie and you say, my Moxie is 9, I roll. Cool, I rolled a 5. Hey, Dad, I can't come to work right now. I'm doing something important. And he says, okay, kid, that's perfectly fine. However, if we were to roll again, we rolled a, let's see, that's an 11, a 12. We rolled a 12. We failed. You say, all right, I'll be there in a minute. It's kind of you taking, there's control taken away from you because you've taken something to take control away from you. That's, you don't even, it's kind of that unconscious, like, yeah, you're going to have to do this. If you don't do it, bad things are going to happen. Yeah, it's kind of like the, well, shit. Like, this is kind of an issue you have to deal with. On the other hand, what I'm going to do is we're going to put in failure may indicate the loss of fatigue point, may loss of fatigue points, may loss of fatigue points, but reactive situations may also lose HP or have other consequences. Whenever a reactive situation need to roll the reaction. If someone's about to fall, so we're taking Marcel or agility. Reactive situations aren't as impressive. It's effectively just saying you have to make a reaction check. My reaction is 13. Why am I so tempted to buy Pirate Board for Roll20? Because it looks nice and that's all it is. The idea here is, hey, oh no, I need to Quickly make a reaction check. 7, 8. I rolled an 8. It's under my 13. I snap into action real fast. I say, oh, I'm going to pick up this person. And I'm going to need to make an agility check. Oh no, I need to make an agility check. I roll a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I roll a 10, 4 under. I get 4 margin, four margin of success. I grab the person really fast. I kind of look, it's kind of that split second moment. I say, wait a second, you're in danger. I snap into action. I grab your hand as you're just about to fall. And I drag you back up. There you go. Again, it's a reactive situation. You are reacting, and you have to kind of rely on your reaction to make sure that you do not fail catastrophically. That's all that it is. Very simple stuff. Now we get into... Now, here's the thing. We got 2 options here. We can split up, stare down... You know what? No. We're going to put that in 3, 4, 5. We're going to put that meandering days in the city. What we can do is... it's demeanor as... What did it's influence? Demeanor and influence. Yes, influence. Demeanor and influence. Whenever the actually we'll encounter let's see, during their time in the city and in the Rumble Hearts League. In the Rumble Hearts League. They'll meet fierce rivals, close friends, scheming managers, and helpful staff, all willing to talk it out. The Joshi measures her relationship with people through their demeanor. Demeanor is the measure of how receptive others are toward the Joshi and what she has to say. Let's see. Depending on a number of advantages and disadvantages, the Joshi's starting demeanor may be wildly different with other people. Consult the following to determine the Joshi's standard demeanor. Determine the Joshi's standard demeanor. So what we do, we need this Carter 1 and 2. It's Moxie plus appearance plus empathy plus empathy. Was base demeanor. Base demeanor. Base demeanor can be augmented by a number of advantages and disadvantages. Disadvantages depending on the group and the Joshi's and natural ability with take this. We or way far down. This, and then we reputation. Let's do inner. We don't really need to worry about empathy anymore, so we want to do amiable. Not amiable, we don't need to worry about appearance. Code of honor, we don't need to worry about that. Empathy, we don't need to worry about that. Jealousy, we don't need to worry about that too much. Reputation, we have to worry about reputation. We have to worry about stigma. Subculture. Actually, reputation. Let's see. If the, let's see, so if the Joshi has the subculture, actually, subculture otaku, at a +3, then if she were to meet her fellow, let's see. For example, if a Joshi has 9 Moxie, has 9 Moxie, appearance, God, what appearance, appearance +2, appearance +2, appearance +2, empathy +1. She would have a base demeanor of 9, 10, 11, base demeanor of 12. Base demeanor can be augmented by do base demeanor with them using our example above. If our Joshi met a base demeanor of 15 with them. Thank you very much. So we're going to add in our favorite man. Welcome and say hello to Tiger Mask. Dun, 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 dun. Something inspired by old NPC reaction play, but with more flavor. The crowd becomes more predictable. It quickly becomes boring. The crowd, like, effectively, the idea was like it's literally a bar going up. If you continuously do the same moves and stuff, it's like, yeah, no one's really gonna get, yeah, everyone's getting bored, and it starts going down pretty fast. Yeah, no, it starts quickly going down, and then it's like, okay, if you're doing unique moves all the time, the match is getting really interesting. People are going to be a little bit more fascinated. That means we all end up very good. The worst case scenario you can find yourself in, the absolute worst, is you end up with a bad crowd who's already really bored, and you end up with someone who's also very boring. That is a serious actual problem, is that if you're trying to get the actual thing going, and you're like, yeah, let's get hyped, let's have fun, let's do this, and your opponent doesn't want to play ball with you, if your opponent's just fucking terrible at her job, that's something you have to deal with, because she's dragging the entire fight down with her. Like, that's kind of the issue. Is just like, yeah, it's like a bored crowd with a boring target with a boring fight is like kind of worst case scenario for everyone. Is it's like no one's really gonna win that. But she might not care. That might be what she wants anyway. She might want to be. She's like, I don't really give a shit because I already got paid. Let's see. She would meet other same interest. Want to do. God. Have enough of that. So, base demeanor. Of being unhealthy. On the other hand, having a that can't be quelled easily. Yep, very easy stuff to understand. And then we do, I don't know, this sometime. There we go. Then we move straight into demeanor, and then we do 3 influence. What does demeanor do though? What does demeanor do though? Demeanor acts as the target, acts as the skill of the Joshi at influencing another person to do as she wishes. Whenever the Joshi requests something from someone without a within reason, asking, actually no, we do footnote, asking, let's see, actually no, that's something, someone within reason, footnote, a parent, a sibling may be willing to drive out to help you without any convincing. Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, what's your actual relationship with this person, and are they willing to do something for you? It's like, you don't need to make a check to say, hey, sibling with a car, can you pick me up real fast? That, you know, you live like next door. I need you to pick me up and do something. Like, that's fine. No, don't ask for a role there. Hey, manager that I don't know very well, can you please pick me up? I'm in the city over. That's a tall fucking order. That's from anyone. Like, no. From something. Would be difficult. It would be a difficulty. It would be difficulty 12. Penalties and bonuses may apply to the may apply during the situation. Yeah. So we do this. Let's see, outside of the raw influence outside of the raw influence chat. We do that. What did I miss? I was watching Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. We have just been grinding on out of combat stuff more than anything, because that is legitimately what we need to do at this point, is just grind. What note? What note within reason? In reason might be different for different people. So, outside of the raw influence check, Joshi may perform a number of skill checks to improve her odds at influencing a target. Do not advantages. We go to skills. Skills. Improve her odds at target. Actually, very simple one. A presentation. As you fail the check. Lord. Let's see, let's do the more obvious skills. Any skill can be used to any skill may technically be used as a influence skill. Makes up the odds in their favor. There we go. That's kind of the idea. All we're doing. That's all the influence system is. It's not very complicated. But sometimes you just don't have the, actually. Influence skill. Let's see. Presentation is convincing. Intimidation is frightening. There we go. That's kind of the idea. It's like, yeah, you could put presentation to like try to convince them. On the other hand, they can also just not. The idea is that making an influence skill check here is you making a gamble. It is saying, I think I can roll very good in my presentation and boost my influence up. You can be an ugly motherfucker with the personality of a fucking toad. On the other hand, you just have really good presentation and you keep making really good points, and people are probably going to listen to you more. On the other hand, being a naturally super pretty person with a personality of a frog may get you just as far. It's kind of the idea, is like, you can look really good but have nothing going on upstairs. or you can look fucking hideous, but actually be very eloquently spoken and do roughly the same. Which is pretty typical. So Richard III. Let's see. So, actually, we do influence, an example, influence and action, influence and action. There we go. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Mickey is currently stranded at the venue after she calls her friends again. Let's see. Takeshi has a demeanor of 14. Takeshi has a demeanor of 14. Let's see. Has demeanor. And demeanor, but he's also at work. She gets a success margin. She gets a success margin of 5. Success margin of 5. Reducing Takeshi's demeanor to 19, but with the negative, but with the negative 4. She'll need to be 15. She rolls and succeeds. Heavy sigh. There we go. God bless Takeshi. Yep, that is what gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss your friends, force them to do things. You know, for a desperate situation. There we go. Our final one, which is going to be improving and worsening. Improving and worsening demeanor. Demeanor shifts and changes the more someone. Mm, 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 mm. But others are going to be side characters. Mm. Side characters in their own right. The Joshi may. Actually, we may write down a number of these side characters equal to her. Equal to her moxie. Let's see. Write down a number of these side characters equal to her moxie, and actively manipulate their demeanor. Some of these quote slots may already be filled with rivals, patrons, dependents, rivals, patrons, or dependents. Yeah. So it's kind of like the idea, like, hey, you have dependents. You have a dependent. You have like your younger sibling you have to take care of. You're going to write them in automatically. Their demeanor is very important to you. So yeah, you're going to write that in automatically. You have a rival. You write their demeanor down. You have a patron. You write their demeanor down. You have a duty to someone. Guess what? Write them down. It's kind of like this is kind of a way to be like, hey, here's a number of characters that you are indicating that you want to show up more frequently. Hey, here's a manager that you know that's gonna be constantly here. Everyone writes them down because knowing their demeanor is gonna be useful in any situation. You might find other characters, like Takeshi, for example. Typical RPG rules problem. Charm, intimidate, persuade, whatever. All do the same thing if you just argue correctly. It's the big thing there, Sovereign, is it's if you go for intimidation, then like, yeah, people are going to get a little bit pissed off at you. And really, there is only a handful of them, like presentation, for example. A lot of these, what I want to have happen is I want a lot of these to be more important in the ring, because presentation is really not going to get you that much crowd excitement. Oh boy, you can speak well. All right, yeah, like they're speaking clearly. You put on a fucking performance on stage and you're doing things, and people are going to be a little bit more receptive toward it. That's a lot more exciting to witness. On the other hand, you know, it's kind of one of those situations, more like what's most appropriate. Like Mickey there is actively putting on a show, effectively. She knows she's not being entirely truthful, but it's also, I'm in desperate straits. All my friends have left me. Takeshi, you're the only one who can save me. Please, Takeshi, you have to do it because I don't want to pay for a cab. Please, Takeshi, you have to save me. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, like... That's kind of the idea, is like, it really does change the nature of it. Takeshi probably wouldn't be as receptive to being influenced. Here's the reason why. Not really. Let's see. Equal to mock, actively manipulate their demeanor. Maybe filled by rivals, patrons, or dependent. Let's see. If the works with, assists, or actively helps a let's see. On the other hand, if the Mm. 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 Let's see, it's far harder to build a relationship than it is to destroy one. It's far harder to build a relationship than it is to destroy one. On the other hand, build a relationship. It's far harder to build a relationship than it is to destroy one. That's kind of the idea. Like, if you are actively I do not stop that. If you are actively working with someone, then yeah, they're going to be a lot more like receptive toward you. It's kind of the idea of like, hey, you have a younger brother who's like in high school or something. You could you could ask him to help you with things. He's going to be pretty receptive toward it. He's like, yep, I'll help you. And if you are helping him study, or you're helping him do something, or you're just trying to, if you go to things that he cares about, you'd be like, yeah, I'm spending the day going to my fucking brother's, goddamn high school, soccer match, because that's something he's big on, in exchange, but you are not choosing to do something else. Like, yeah, okay, you're going to boost up his demeanor. He's going to be more willing to help you later on. If you make an active demand of him, like every day he do everything for you, then yeah, he's not gonna be your best friend by the end of it. He's gonna be like, fuck you, sis. I don't give a shit. Go away. I don't like you anymore. On the other hand, it's kind of the idea like that. Even like rivals, you can have a really high demeanor with a rival. Technically, you can. You just dislike one another, and yeah, a really high demeanor rival is someone that you have a friendly rivalry with each other. You can influence each other pretty well. You just get mad at each other, and like, yeah, we're gonna throw down, but it's just a rivalry. Really low demeanor is, I fucking hate you, and I'm going to push you down the stairs. Like, I truly despise you. I'm like, oh, okay. Then it's destroy one. How do I want to? No. Actually, what we could do. Let's see. Demeanor and bonuses toward the Joshi herself. Let's see. Putting in some extra hours at worker. Let's see. Wait. However, if the Joshi want to resist this influence, Mm. Let's see. Josie wants to resist this influence. He'll be making a post self-control check against the. Mm. 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 Catastrophic defeat or loss. Mm. 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 Yeah. Kind of a, I think this is a good enough compromise. It's like, hey, you can be influenced by someone. You are making an opposed check against them, though. It's an opposed check going back and forth. They say, we want this. You say, no. I don't know why it's annoying. I don't know why it's doing that, but we can fix it in 5 seconds. Let's see, self-control, reactive situation. Only 4 pages? I guess it is only 4 pages. Kind of dense writing, but... Alright, that's really it when it comes to that particular section. There isn't really anything more to talk about. Because, like, this is legitimately everything when it comes to non-combat sets. You know, when it comes to non-combat, that is legitimately everything. There is nothing more to talk about. Okay, so... here's what I am going to do. It is late. It is very hot in my room right now. Let's see. Let's see. I think we did quite a lot, though. Let's see. Do we have anything else fun and exciting to do? Anything to do right now? Not really. Again, it's one of those things where if we spend all of next week, I don't think actual wrestling is going to be that long. Here's the thing. What do we need to talk about with actual, for realsies wrestling? One, we need to establish how initiative. We need to establish initiative. We need to establish the ring, how the ring works. With the ring is going to be a little bit different, actually. We need to establish reaction initiative. Action initiative. Establish the ring, which is going to be the posts, the ropes, the pit, the mat. It's effectively, the idea behind this is that if you get thrown, because you're going to be able to get moved around a little bit depending on your strength and their strength, hitting the ropes means that you have to make a check. You might need, if you get thrown into the ropes, you're going to stop, but you have to make a check of what you want to do. You might make an agility to try to slide under the ropes into the pit. You may try to make a smarts check to kind of put your arms forward and stop yourself a little bit more reasonably. You can do a number of things. Entering the pit. The pit's really fucking dangerous. Not only are you outside of the ring where you shouldn't be and things are really bad there, it's not the mat. You get thrown to the ground in the pit, you're getting thrown to the ground on concrete effectively. The ERP rules, no ERP rules. Honest to God though, with even just like half of what I've written, the amount of shit you can do with this game already in that front is kind of fucking ridiculous. I didn't intend on it, it just kind of happens. Also shards of broken bottles, whatever else is down there. Exactly. Like, it ain't good down there. You're going to get very hurt down in the pit versus, on the mat. Let's see, we need to establish, I guess that we need to do we need to establish actions. We need to establish techniques. Techniques would have to go into, actually, if we establish techniques, we need to establish control points, which control points are probably going to have to go here, but we'll probably end up calling it grapple points. Yeah, no, it's we need to establish grapple points, which would go into techniques. Techniques are a little weird. There's a few ways of doing it. I think I know how to pull it off. They're going to be a little weird, but so we've established all grapple points is effectively the more times you're actually wrestling things, you're going to establish control over someone. In the original GURPS, it's control points. If I roll, let's say I roll wrestling against you and I score a margin of 4, I would get 4 control points over you. I can use these control points to do things. One of the most obvious ones is getting a +4 to my fucking action to do something to you. On the other, I could just burn them all and, kind of try to pin you to the ground or something like that to just lower your fatigue or something like that. That's kind of the idea, is you build these up, you have these, the enemy is now trying to break out of your grapple. That's going to be laid kind of in the techniques. There's a couple things that I want to try to accomplish that aren't too complicated, but techniques are going to be probably one of the things we're going to spend a little bit more time on. What else do we really need? Oh yeah, we would need to establish recovery, which is be HP plus FP. HP is going to be recovered a lot slower than FP. You can get really fucked up in a match. If you get really fucked up in a match, you're going to be in your ass for a couple days. It's going to restore relatively quickly, relatively speaking. But yeah, you have you are hurt. You were knocked out cold. You might break your nose, and if that happens, shit, sucks for you. And I know just the autist. Guard Bro is live. Guard Bro is live. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Don't like that. Let's see. We have recovery, HP, and FP. What else we would need to establish? We would need to establish, fatigue points are good. You're going to get back at fatigue points if you sleep. You go to bed at that night, you go to sleep, you're good. Unless you have Insomniac, which is why Insomniac is really fucking bad. Because if you're an Insomniac, it takes you 2 days to effectively recover all your FP. Which is really bad, because you're not recovering your FP at all. And then it's kind of especially if you're doing multiple shows at one after another, it's yeah, you're not really recovering at all. You just don't sleep very well. Which is also where Night Owl comes in useful, because you're allowed to kind of ignore that. Let's see, what else are we working with? We got recovery. What else are we missing? I feel like we're missing something. What are we missing? Actions, grapple points, techniques, cover. Oh, I know. Crowd excitement, and then we can talk about fans as well. There we go. We do crowd excitement into fans. Effectively, what the idea behind fans is at the end of the match, it's kind of what's the scale of the match? If the match is a really tiny ass match, you might only get a +1. You might only get 1 times, crowd excitement fans. You might only end up with 13 new fans, which really doesn't mean anything. However, if the venue's fucking massive, you might get 25 times whatever you might get fucking 50 times whatever the excitement is, because it's a huge venue. You have a bunch of people who are rooting for you all of a sudden, because you have a huge venue with thousands of people watching. And if you, get good excitement, let's say the excitement rating is like, like 10 or something, that's 500 people who suddenly like you. That's 500 people, and then that's going to be kind of feeding into like people buying your merch effectively. This is going to be the indirect way to improve your it's the indirect way of getting your money up. You want to improve your wealth? Get fans. The more fans you get, the more money you get. This is a direct incentive for you to play to the crowd because you get actual money to sell shit. Yeah, and that's why I have kind of that, like, number of... So only fans can raise your salary. This is actually a big thing, Demented Villain. I'll get to what you said there in the Sovereign in a second. This is actually a big thing about amateur wrestling. For a lot of those amateur wrestlers, they only really make money based on the number of fans who buy their merch. The shirts, the masks, the anything. That's how they make their money. They may not make any money from the promotion itself, but they'll make money because they showed up there and they sold all the merch that they had. That's how they make real money. That's why I'm trying to like kind of move in here, because to give you an idea, a rookie Puroresu, completely rookie who joins in, they are making around 2 million yen a year. That's about 12,500 a year. That's fucking nothing. They are they don't make a lot of money. Now some people can live off $1,000 a month, roughly. If you live in a shitty place, you can make about, you're living. It's not great, but you're living. You're making a lot of money. That's why it's kind of like, yeah, you might have a side job. Having a side job means you actually are making money. It's your day in, day out kind of thing. So it's one of those things like, yeah, you make $1,000 a month, but you get 2,000 fans, and now your wealth, your wealth level, your wealth rating is going to increase by 1 because you're selling that much merch all of a sudden. You're selling merch, you're selling fans. People are posting about you on social media, and you get more things, including sponsorship deals, which is going to be kind of like we get sponsorship deals to give more money so we can improve ourselves. Yeah, it's kind of that, that constant, the constant back and forth. So you always want to build up your crowd excitement to get more fans, to get more people, to get more things. Actually, Special fights, restriction fight, promotion fights, they're going to be effectively the same thing. There's a different context. A special fight is, hey, you're in a big ring. You're in a big ass fucking ring, way bigger than it should be. But if you're used to the relatively contained ring of, if you're used to a relatively contained ring like this size, then that's going to be real different if we double the size of it. If we double the size of it, that means you have a lot more room to maneuver around in, but if your big thing is using the ropes to do things or the posts to do things, something you gotta worry about. Or change it. It's a cage fight. Hey, you're in the fucking cage. You can't leave the ring. But you have now the ability to climb on the side of the rings, or, it's open, it's an open air ring. That's gonna be a little bit different than if it's that. Restriction fights are like, hey, there's a restriction in place. There's a big restriction in place that you have to abide by. And that's something that it's kind of like, you're going to get more out of this if you play to that, and people are not going to like it if you break the rule. Heels can break the rules, you can't if you're a face. And these are like, hey, you can't use grappling technique. Yeah, this is no grappling. Yeah, no, you can't use grappling in this wrestling fight. Why? Because people don't like that. We're experimenting with MMA fans. Or it's, hey, no strikes. You have to use grappling for everything. How do you make an interesting match that's entirely grapple-based? Or even down to little things like, you have to lose. You have to lose. That is the actual restriction. You are forced to lose this because people have set it up that you have to lose. But how do you come out at the top there? You still have to put up a good fight, but you can't kill them. You can't beat them up. You're like, fuck. That's something heels have to maybe worry about a little bit more. Is like, yeah, things, they don't want you to do things. Hell, even mud wrestling matches, unironically, you would just be, hey, the entire terrain is shit. $10, yeah, it's also smaller, really characterized by hardcore fans. Kind of the idea for the hardcore fans is that is why you have kind of like this number of like slots that you're able to slot people into. They could just be a really hardcore fan that just really likes you, and you hit it off with them. They, you know, it's like, hey, I'm like your biggest fan. I've been supporting you from the beginning. And you actually like hit it off with them because they're actually a nice person. Or oopsie doopsie, he's secretly a billionaire or whatever, and that's just something you have to deal with now. Hey, my biggest fan's a millionaire, but he is also crazy. Oh hey, you know, oh well, why doesn't any of your shit ever sell? Well, it doesn't sell because this guy you know. And it could be a problem, you know, and that could be just as much as a good thing as a bad thing. Of, hey, you have a fan, like here's this high school girl who's a huge fan of you. However, good news, she's a hyper fan. She has like a demeanor of like 19. You can tell her to do whatever you want, she's gonna do it. Problem, she's also fucking insane. Yeah, this is my Psycho Yandere fan. She kills people. Like, oh no. Hey, what are you doing with that box cutter? Ah! Sorry, my Psycho Yuri girlfriend is constantly trying to kill me. Like, it's constantly out of stock because this guy buys literally all of it. Yeah, it's shit like that. Being like, yeah, he buys all of the merch, so nobody buys anything else. You're like, fuck. Yeah, and that's kind of the idea. Like, yeah, you can get fans like that. On the other hand, you may not interact with any of your fans like that. It could be completely up to you. Because you could just write in people that are, like, on the promotion side. Hey, here is, like, your actual manager person. The manager person likes you. She's a cunt. She is a horrible human being. And she will ask you to do terrible, awful things. On the other hand... She knows she can get shit done, you know. It's fucking Makima as a goddamn, you know. Yeah, finally, my wrestling promoter, my promoter, fucking Makima. Yeah, she's gonna force you to do some shit you're not very proud of, but hell, you get some money out of it. You know, it's kind of like, oh hey, here are people who care about you, or hey, just put in you just know a guy. You can just write in that you have a friend named Takeshi. Why? Because his name's Takeshi, and that's why you just came up with that. You have a friend his name is Takeshi. He's your childhood friend who you constantly fucking harass. That's it. Does Takeshi show up often? I don't know, might. Hey, does your mom show up often? I don't know, she might. I'm gonna be honest, I'm really bad at making tables. I've always have been. So if you have a good you know, set of charts or tables to do stuff with, feel free to tell me, because I'm going to need it. Kind of the idea for like promotion fights are going to be a little bit unique. Like, these are kind of no hold bar. Like, if you win, something big happens. This is kind of like, you could kind of call this like a story fight. This is, hey, this is your chance at the ring. You know, like, this is your team. You know, this is your three-man team's attempt at a title. You're gonna do this, you get promoted up. On the other hand, you might lose promotion fights. You might just fucking lose. And you wanna know what happens? That's fine. You're fucking rookies. You're not expected to win. No one has any faith in you in that regard. But it would also be really weird if you won way too easily. Uh-oh. Takeshi sounds like a challenge to deal with. Yeah, Takeshi is just like, yeah, here's just an actual working adult who is willing to help you, and like, uh-oh, like, yeah, good job, you've accidentally, they completely threw the match. Everyone knows they threw the match. Yeah, this is Jerry. He's my biggest fan. He works at 7-Eleven. Yeah, it could literally, like, yeah, here's Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I'm like, hey. How you doing, Jerry? I'm doing good. Hey, Jerry, do you want some exclusive merch, sir? Finally, my biggest fan, my 39-year-old brother, who's way older than us. So, yeah, again, you could just be like, yeah, here, who do you call when things are going bad? Here's my brother. Oh, what do you mean? Like, here's my brother. He has 3 kids and he fucking lives in the suburbs. Like, yeah, he's my biggest fan. Yeah, and again, you're going to have some natural ones like, hey, here is your patron. Like the kind of the idea that I was kind of doing with is kind of like one of the example characters. This is Mickey, for example. Mickey's gonna be our kind of our sample girl. I'm gonna be making a few sample characters. One of the sample characters is the Yakuza princess, whose family has an inexplicably huge influence on the Rumble Hearts League. She's not actually very good at fighting. She just has a patron. And she has a patron, and she's very wealthy. And everyone kind of knows the fact that her dad kind of runs everything. And it's like, yeah, hey. It's like, hey, Mickey, what's up? Being like, hello. And you see the fucking dragon of Dojima in the background being like, this is my beautiful daughter. I love her very much. Being like, hello, sir. Please don't kill us. Yeah, and like, oh no, here's my biggest fan, my dad. My greatest fan, my wife's new boyfriend. Have you determined if you can make the phase girls yet? In the theory. So kind of a heel. That's the best part. She's not. You make her a face, but no, she tries really hard to be a face. You just see her biggest fan, her fucking dad, the brick shit house sitting in the stands. Just everyone's terrified. Being like, yay, she won. The entirety of the Makaba group stands up and starts cheering. Every single one of them. Every single one of them looks like they could kill a man instantly. Yay! Technically, the phase girls wouldn't be too complicated to make. Really, any of them. Can I play a teenage girl? You can play a teenage girl. She would be about 18 to 19, though. That's the big thing. Technically, you probably could play a 17-year-old, but that's if you're dealing with, like, the 90s. Technically, you can. However, you can be really small and weak, and nobody... Yeah, but people would still dare to beat you up. People would power slam you still. People would throw, a giant woman twice your size... named Bertha would pick you up and throw you over the ropes, and there would be no mercy. Yeah, other people may be a little bit like, I don't want to, I don't want to hit a girl, being like, that's cringe. I don't hit women. Like, all the physical stats are really up to you. Like, we could probably put in, like, inexplicably young. Like, yeah, you're just way younger than you really should. And we could probably put in actually, I don't even know where we would put that in. Let's see, like, where would we put that in? There's a few ways we could call this. Let's see. Actually, if we put it in, let me see. ABC. I guess if we do this is going to be really janky if we do this. So we put workaholic there. Mm. Mm. Actually, what we can do, we can make this a, there we go. Mm. Mm. See, actually no. Mm. I don't know how to write this. I don't know how to write this. I'm not going to think about it right now. There's an answer here. I don't know what that answer is, though. Yeah, it should be easy enough to put that in there, though. Being like, yeah, you're just inexplicably young. Everyone thinks you're like 12. It's the thing is, GURPS does not deal with how do I want to do this? GURPS does not deal with advantage disadvantages very well, and in turn, LePain doesn't handle that. If you want to do something like that, you probably can. I'll think on it. There's a couple options there. But yeah, no, in theory, we could probably let's bring up the bring up the Phase girl, you know, Phase Connect talents. Let's bring up all the Phase Connect talents right now. So let's do this. So let's be honest. Let's play this. Let's play this really direct. Because playing this direct is what we do absolutely best. So, Phase 01, Phase 01, let's see, yeah, we could do pretty consistently all of them. Probably Shisu would be a little bit difficult, because she's a fucking wizard. But yeah, ideally, if you could, you know, fucking ground, you know, fucking hammer slam fucking Pippa Pipkin in the face and throw her off the ring and have her face plant into the pit, that is possible. That should be fine. Wizard shit is where things get complicated. Tenma would also be very easy. Lumi, pretty easy to handle. Just pump her. You would effectively with Lumi, you would be needing to pump appearance, take Clueless. You could probably, I don't think she'd be very physically strong, but I could see her being fast. Easy enough to handle. Clueless. When in doubt, honestly, honest to God, if you just apply Clueless to every single one of the Phase girls, you'd be doing pretty well. Not very high physical stats. That's kind of the problem with the vast majority of them. I can't believe Pippa has fucking five smarts. Oh my goodness. And she gets fucking power slammed by Lumi. Finally. Content for the rest of us. Alright, let's see. Let's play a game, everybody. It's 9 o'clock for me, and it's getting very hot in my room. I want to drink more beer to cool myself down. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to type in WVT. Let's check out who's streaming. I hear Skibbity Toilet Fever. Absolutely not. Bioshock 1. No. No, Zoomers. Oh, this is all pornography. This is all pornography. I can't deal with that in my Christian server. Guard bro, let's find guard bro. Fuck you, ads. Let's
So much for my fucking L-shaped ambush. Thanks, Chaz. I'm gonna teach my fucking lesson. I was like, how?
cool. All right, yeah, we'll do that. Let's harass guard bro, because that's what I do best. Okay, let's harass other streamers. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's boogie. There we go. This channel is intended for mature audiences, of course. So I'm sorry, children. We are unable to do that. Let's go harass this man because that's what we do best. All right, Godspeed. Good luck. Love you all. Kiss you.